What's up, people? We is back. We is back. Have y'all had any idea how my day been going? Hold up. I literally been working on one video, y'all. One video since 4 o'clock. The same video I've been working on all week. Since 4 o'clock, straight through. I just finished it. You better not play with it. Yo. What's up, people? We is back. The one and only. Man, what's up with Young Thug, man? Fuck's up with you, man? Boy lost his mind. Hey, man, boy, Young Thug lost his mind, man. Tell you, man. I don't know what's up with Young Thug, man. I done never took such deal. But yeah, we're gonna talk about Young Thug and this plea deal. His father just released a statement. We got ADAM22 and Brick Baby dissing Durk. Yo, I'm not really, why everybody taking a jab at Durk, yo? I think a lot of them podcasters, like Adam and Vlad, they ain't never liked Durk. They didn't never like the fact that they probably wanted Durk to come to their platform and he turned them down. Hey, yo, that's crazy, yo. Brian still threw him. I think Brian still threw him, man. I would have not have took no deal like that, y'all. Yo, a 40-year suspended sentence. 40-year suspended sentence. 15 years probation. And he banned from Atlanta. They didn't ban him from Atlanta. Like, yo, but I told y'all, man, Fannie Willis won. She won. She got what she wanted. She got her convictions. She banned Thug. You know, take your problems elsewhere. But it's gonna be very hard for him to be a rapper and not do drugs. You know, that go hand in hand. Rap music and drugs. The fuck you gonna do that? He can't even work with convicted felons. That man, he might as well turn a country or something. Heavy metal. No, he can't do heavy metal. Yeah, that's wild. So we're gonna go to court, listening on that. We got some news on Diddy, man. They talking about tapes, man. Tapes is getting brought up a lot in Diddy case. We're gonna see what that's about. Look, y'all, my video uploading. How King Von took down Lil Durk, O-Block, and OTF. As long as you two don't play with me. See, it's going through checks right now. See what they do. But I can't even go to YouTube yet. So let's go to Instagram. Y'all been working on this video for 7 days, y'all. At least 7 days. But he said how they know DJ Drama. Yeah, for real. I'd have never took that deal, man. Catch of the year. Yeah, the fuck is this?
And rush. Rogers to the end zone.
Oh, he pulled an Odell.
And he one-handed and stay in shin.
I think he might have got in, man.
The left shin hit the ground inbounds before the knee hit out of bounds.
I already say. Damn. That was a hell of a catch. Fuck, that catch is better than Odell. Odell didn't have to do all that. All right, y'all, but this what happened today in court, y'all. So at first word was, yeah, I think this was a play too, y'all. They ran a hell of a play because look, right? Ain't no way. Yo, how is this even a recommendation? The state is recommending Young Thug a sentence to 25 years with 25 years to serve. Get the fuck out of here, yo. That wasn't never no real option. 25 years with 25 years to serve? Ain't no way that was a real option. Ain't no way. No. Nah. They put on the show. Yo, they played politics with everybody, yo. There's no way that the prosecutors reviewed their case and said, man, look, we want 25 years, we want 45, 25 years in prison. It's impossible. No, that's not real. It's impossible, man. Ain't no way. Yo, when I saying that, I'm saying Thug gonna turn it down. And yo, I never heard nothing like that before where the state can recommend a sentence, right? But it's ultimately up to the judge. Like, you can disregard my whole sentence and you can just come up with whatever sentence you want. Like, I ain't never saying nothing like that, yo. But I'm thinking they already had this in the works the whole time. The whole time. I think this sentence right here, they just did for TV purposes. They did this sentence right here for TV purposes, y'all. God damn. Because how? How, y'all? 45 years with 25 to serve? If I for real, Highway Trap, you know we ready to go win. Yo, we know we ready to go win. Ain't no way. I'd have said Fannie Willis, respectfully, you can take this sentence and motherfucking, Fannie, crazy. But I think this is a play. I don't think that was a real sentence. It don't even look real. Looking at it on the screen, it don't even look real. If you watch the case for 3 days, what's up, man? If you watch the case for 3 days and then you saying this sentence, man, you'll break your phone. Man, get the fuck out of here. Ain't no good and goddamn well. So what actually happened?
And Mr. Williams, were you aware of the state's previous offer that was turned down prior to your making this non-negotiated plea?
Yes.
All right. And Your Honor, at this time, the state is making a recommendation of 45 years with 25 to serve in custody, followed by 20 on probation, subject to the special requirements of 1615 for the gang statute.
Yo, what the fuck kind of deal was that? Yo, how can you give somebody? Yo, you recommend 45 years with 25 years to serve. Oh, and we want 20 years on the back end on probation. Yo, y'all need to get out of Atlanta. Georgia, if y'all need to get the fuck out of Georgia, yo. Like, yo, that is yo, if people are taking pleas like that, yo, that is insane. I would never take nothing like that. What? Yo, in Maryland, yo, we don't even be trying to take over 5 years probation. You get to talk about 15, 20. Man, shit, that ain't even an option. That ain't even an option. Y'all told y'all yesterday, yo, I wouldn't have took nothing. I compromised a little bit. First, I said, man, look, I'd take 1 year, 1 year unsupervised probation, time served. Then I said, no, bands over the charges, what the charges is. I said, man, I'll probably take, after I talked to one of my mans, I'll probably take 3 years probation, time served. But this is what ultimately happened. Like, I wouldn't have took nothing else, yo, because the case was garbage. The case was garbage. So this is what happened. That's what it is, Edward. Yo, 15 years is a long ass time, yo. Somebody said they'd take 15 years. Oh, yeah, Travis. He made out. Now, that was a good deal, Travis. That was a good deal. Dude that was facing the 3 life sentences made out like a fat rat. I'd have took that hands down, no question. What's up, Tay? Ball out. I'd have took that, no question. But Thug deal, I don't like it. And it come with a 10-year ban, so you can't even go back home. Yeah, she won.
So it is not lost on the court that the state, had they been able to come to agreement on certain special conditions, was willing to entirely dismiss the RICO count, was willing to entirely dismiss one of the gang counts, and was willing to entirely
for real,
dismiss
Playboy
this,
Prada.
machine gun count. Was willing to give a sentence that permitted Mr. Williams
Man, I'm thinking Brian still
walk
thrown.
out of the
For
door
real.
today.
It had, it
And
wasn't, yo. We
therefore
seen the
does
whole
not seem
case.
to be particularly worried that Mr. Williams, if on the streets, would be a danger to society. I'm taking that into consideration in crafting my sentence. And in permitting a no-low plea to the RICO count and one of the 2 gang counts, I would not be permitting the no-low to the one if you were not pleading guilty to at least one of them. But you are, and y'all admit a factual basis for the counts that you are pleading guilty to. I find there to be a factual basis for those counts, and for the remaining counts with which you are charged.
Unless he's still going to trial?
I am
gonna
going
beat
to impose a sentence, and I've taken a little bit of the suggested special conditions from the defense and a little bit of the special conditions suggested by the prosecution. On count 1, the court sentence is 20 years to serve 5 years, commuted to time served, the balance of 15 years to be probated, and a $25,000 fine. On count 2, the sentence is 5
Hold
years.
up, y'all. Hold the fuck up, y'all. And you gonna give me a fine? Yo, you gonna give me a fine after I just spent all this money fighting this bogus ass case? You still gonna give me a fine? Man, fuck that. Hey, Judge, we got to waive the fine, Judge. We got to waive the fine. I already spent 5 to 15 million fighting this shit. I probably, man, come on, Judge, not the fine. That was petty, Judge. Take the fine back. Take the fine back, Judge. That's bogus.
Serve, commuted to time served. That's the minimum sentence that's permitted.
That's what I'm
on
saying,
that
Travis.
count.
He still got 40.
It is required to be run consecutively. I'm going to run it consecutive to count 1, but I am going to backload. Oh, I'm sorry. That is not commuted. That is 5 years to serve, and it's going to be run consecutively to count 1, backloaded, by which I mean after you serve your 15 years of probation, if you have been successful on that probation, and I sincerely hope that you are, then at the end of that 15 years, I will commute the entire rest of any service portion of your sentence to time served.
Yeah.
So I'll get
if he mess up, they can give him any time within that 40 years and just put him back on probation. Like, I would have never signed this deal, yo. Like, never. Fuck that, yo. Like, yo, people be crazy. 40 years? After this, we're going to go and see. Then he got 1 million special conditions. 1 million of them.
The total sentence, but I'm also going to impose a $15,000 fine.
You can't appeal when you plead guilty.
To that count.
And that's another
Count
thing.
57.
And that's another thing, too, y'all. Yo, once you plead guilty, you can't even appeal it. You can't, you man, I wouldn't have played guilty. Not with that. Yo, after I done sat in this trial, sat in this county jail, and I get it, county jail, it's tight, you want to get out of it. Yo, but after you've been in there 2 years, you know already got your regimen. You comfortable now. You understand? Like, ain't, you know, you try and get out, yo, but I ain't ready to put myself in a blender either. Yo, because all he gotta do is forget to contact his PO. That boy travels state to state to state. All he got to do is forget to travel his PO. Know what they're gonna do? I mean, call his PO while he traveling. Know what they're gonna do? Violate him. Off the rip. Back in there. Yo, the way his lifestyle is, yo, it's too much room for error. Too much. He might be in a room where motherfuckers smoking weed and get it dirty. You understand? Like, yo, it's too much room for error with 40 years over your head. You talking about 15 years probation? Doug might as well just stop rapping. That's what he might as well do, yo. Just stop rapping. And then he talking about he want to do music with Gunna. And I'm going to get on Gunna, yo, because Gunna still signed the snitch plea. I don't give a fuck what Doug said. Doug don't tell me who a rat and who not. You understand what I'm saying? You feel me? Obviously, yo, them boys down Atlanta go by different rules. Because in Baltimore, Woody Head would have been on a fucking platter. But I know Thug is his artist. So I get it. You know, you still want to make money together. But Thug signed a snitch plea. That's what you call a snitch plea. You sign a plea and your whole plea is implicating other people. Like Monk Tonk signed the snitch plea. Gunna did the same thing. So, yeah, that shit don't change. Him and Gunna can be best friends. He's still a rat in my motherfucking eyes. I wouldn't fuck with him. For real. You sign your whole plea is implicating other people. Man, hell no, I would never sign no shit like that.
20 years to serve 5, commuted to time served. The balance of 15 years probated, concurrent with count 1. Count 58.
Yeah, you're going to have to start
10 years to serve 5, commuted to time served. Balance probated, concurrent with count 1. 59, 5 years to serve, commuted to time served, concurrent with count 1. 60, 5 years to serve, commuted to time served, concurrent with count 1. Count 61, 5 years to serve. That is required to be also consecutive sentence. So that's
Monk Tonk went to jail because he signed the snitch plea. Monk Tonk's whole plea was implicating other people. I would have never signed it. I'd have never signed it. Yo, it's like, yo, I get it, yo. I done been locked up 8-9 months wanting to get out, yo, but you don't just sign the first fucking deal that come across your table. If I was Thug, it's a little bit too much give. Yo, we gotta take it's a little bit too much take. You know, they gotta give in a little bit. Like, yo, the whole deal was one-sided. Only thing Thug out to deal with is his freedom. And he ain't even free because he on papers. So the only benefit Thug got out of this deal was he get to go home today. That's the only benefit. Everything else is on the side of the state. Everything else. Yes, new snitch. From the wire?
It's going to be run consecutively to count 56 and backloaded. Count 62,
from what
10
I know,
years to serve, also required to be served consecutively. That's going to be consecutive to count 61, also backloaded. So essentially, the total sentence is 40 years to serve the first 5 years in prison, but commuted to the time that you have already served, followed by 15 years on probation, followed then by the backloaded 20 years, which can be served in custody and will be served in custody if you are not successable on your probation. If you are successful in completing your 15 years probation, that will be commuted to time served.
Man, Thug should have got.
Right. So
who Thug should have got? Thug should have got. Even though they lost the case, Thug should have got straight drop lawyer. Yo, straight drop lawyer crushed Brian Steele. Man, he was a motherfucking shark in court. Shark in court. Even though they got found guilty, but he was a shark in court. I'm talking about, man, Thug should have got Joe. That's what he should have got.
Is not lost on the court that the state,
Yeah, Corey, he'll triple A.
had they been able to come to an agreement on certain special
Oh,
conditions,
tripping.
was
I'd
willing
never signed
to
that deal,
entirely
y'all.
dismiss the RICO count, was willing to entirely dismiss one of the gang counts, and was willing to entirely dismiss this, machine gun count. Was willing to give a sentence that permitted Mr. Williams to walk out of the
For real.
door today.
You right, Pedro. If he was
And
going to do this, he
therefore
should have been
does
dead.
not seem to be particularly worried that Mr. Williams, if on the streets, would be a danger to society. I'm taking that into consideration in crafting my sentence. And in permitting
I don't know.
a
He trying to
no
get
plea
another one.
to the RICO
I
count
doubt
and
it.
one of the two gang counts, I would not be permitting Manolo to the one if you were not pleading
He did
guilty
come back
to
with
at
that jury
least one
sentence.
of
The
them.
jury did come back with a sentence kind
But
of
you
fast.
are,
I mean, a verdict.
and y'all admit a factual basis for the counts that you are pleading guilty to. I find there to be a factual basis for those counts, and for the remaining counts with which you are charged. I am going to impose a sentence, and I've taken a little bit of the suggested special conditions from the defense and a little bit of the special conditions suggested by the prosecution.
Got that rap
On
house TV
count
shit all on
one,
the thing.
the court sentence is 20 years to serve 5 years, commuted to time served. The balance of
Yeah, I man, salute the young thug. Yeah, I know he happy he home, but goddamn. So his father spoke out on the sentence, and his father is upset. I don't blame him. If he was my son, I'd have said, son, don't take that goddamn deal. Son, you better not fucking take that deal. Yo, that is a swine out deal. Yo, that's a set you up deal. Yo, because, yo, you can violate so easily. So easily, yo, you can violate from missing a home visit. You can violate for missing a regular visit. You can violate for a dirty yawn. You can violate for getting shot. You can violate for being in the vicinity. Like, if you're doing shows, what happens if a show gets shot up? You understand? What happens, yo, if one of his shows gets shot up? Yo, that is a violation. Technical violation off the rip. You put yourself in a fucked up situation. Like I say, yo, rappers be in the studio. People be smoking weed, and what if you in the studio and they and that motherfucker smoked out and you catch it dirty? The whole time you ain't even smoke. Yo, 15 years is a long time. See, Thug don't probably mind it, because I ain't from Atlanta. I'm from Baltimore, and we don't get no more than 5 years. We don't even be trying to take 5 years probation. You tell somebody from Baltimore 5 years probation, man, they gonna flip the fuck out. 5 years? What? Yo, I caught a 10-year suspended sentence. So when I came home, I had 5 years probation. And my did it run at the same time? Yeah, my probation ran at the same time. So I ended up doing like 7 years on 10. Yo, but that 5 years took forever. Yo, that 5 years took forever. You talking about adding another 10 on to the back of that? Man, hell no. I'd have still been on papers right now. I've been home since 2009. Yo, I'm happy he came home. But and then when you think about how the case was going, yo, that case was going great. That case was going great. Like, yo, why would you? I don't know, y'all. I wonder what Brian Steele told him. I wonder if Brian Steele was like, no, I wouldn't. I don't think it's a good idea. I mean, you can do what you want to do, but I don't think that's really a good idea. Because if Brian Steele told him that was a good idea, Brian Steele threw him. That was bad legal counsel. I'm not taking 15 years, y'all, with 20 years over my head. He got 20 years over his head. So if he violate, they can give him they can piece him off on that 20, just hitting him with 5-year bits every time. Next thing you know, he's 5 years old. He still on papers. Man, I can't fuck with that. I can't do it. No gangs, no drug. Yeah, yo, but that's a hard a creative player. I get it. Yo, but we just looked at on a yesterday live. Yo, 50% or 40-something% of the people that's incarcerated in Georgia is locked up for violating their probation. It's the trap. Yo, so it's only 2 going to trial. So that means 24 took guilty pleas. In the next 5 years, y'all, out of that 24 that took guilty pleas, in the next 5 years, watch how many of them go back to prison. Watch. And you know, they're going to broadcast it. That's why I said Fannie Willis won. Because a bulk of them 25 or 26, however many people it was that got indicted, a bulk of them within the next 5 years is going back to prison. And it's like, damn, I just couldn't do it. But Doug Father had a lot to say. He's upset. And I don't blame him. I'd have told my son, no. Son, we might as well just fight, son. Even if you guys sit in here another 2 years, at least you'll come home with nothing. You ain't got to worry about these people. Like, they didn't bank them from Atlanta. The nigga done got banned. Fuck you ban Young Thug from Atlanta. No, you can't appeal a guilty plea. Now he can go back for like a modification. You know, they can modify his sentence. You know, if he do good after like 10 years. And that's probably what's gonna happen. He probably got a deal already. Because I honestly don't think that 45-year plea was ever in doubt. I think they just did that for TV purposes. I think they did that for TV purposes, just to make it look like, yeah, we still standing firm on Thug. But they knew good and goddamn well the judge wasn't going to co-sign that.
You know, yes, I do. I'm totally against that because this is where he's from. You know, and to have a district attorney take that away from him. That isn't a resident from here. She's from another state.
Yeah.
You know, and to see her take a man away from where he's from to have to go live somewhere else, that's offensive to me. I'm really offended by it.
And
You know?
do you live here in Metro Atlanta?
Yes, I do.
So how does it feel here that he's not allowed to be in Metro Atlanta?
I'm totally against that because this is where he's from. You know, and to have a
Essentially, the total sentence
Look at
is
this shit.
40 years to serve the first 5 years in prison, but commuted to the time that you have already served,
All right,
followed by 15 years on probation, followed then by the backloaded 20 years, which
All right,
can
so
be
look,
served
y'all.
in custody.
So these are special. He got special conditions too. Like that ain't it. Like he got a lot going on. My man Design sent me the deal. So this is the deal. 5 years with time served, 15 years probation, 20 years in jail if he goes back. He gotta speak up. He gotta speak out about gun and gang violence to kids 4 times a year. 100 hours community service. Yo, but how long is this going? Do you gotta do this every year? Yo, so you gotta speak to kids about gun and gang violence 4 times a year for what? 15 years? God damn. 100 hours community service. He can work with Gunner again as long as Gunner is signed to him. He cannot throw up any hand signs. No more slat. He can't use any drugs, weed included. Damn, he can't even smoke weed. Weed not legal in Atlanta. He can't own or be around any guns. So now he's a target. Now they just made him a target. Well, we know he ain't tell. He also can't go back to the Metro Atlanta for 10 years. After 10 years, he can go back for weddings and funerals. So he is banned forever. Yo, they banned him from Atlanta forever. Yo, what the fuck? Hey, yo, hold up, yo. Yo, they banned the man from Atlanta forever, yo. He can only go back for weddings and funerals. Basically saying that we know you got family here. So if it's a a big occasion, like a wedding or a funeral, no birthdays. You can't celebrate a birthday in Atlanta. That's the only time you can come back. Yo, do y'all think Thug's gonna be able to stay out of Atlanta for 10 years? I mean, for the rest of his life? Basically, for the rest of his life. Because like, I don't even know how they implement that. I know for the next 15 years, they're gonna have to, like, he can, let his PO know, like, I got a wedding, I'm attending. Yo, but after he off probation, then how do you do that? What if you get pulled over? You be like, yo, I'm going to the wedding. What the fuck they gonna ask you? Like, no, we need to see some type of. Well, I guess it's till his probation is over. Yeah, I guess that's what it is. So basically, he banned. For 15 years. But he said he go for concert. Yeah. He can still work with Gunna. Man, you already know FBA. You already know they're gonna be on the lookout for him. Damn, Thug. Well, shit. I mean, welcome home, though. Shit. I know he happy home. Yeah, if I was Thug, I'd move out. I would just move to. He might need to move to the West Coast. Move to Texas. That way you won't even be tempted to go to Atlanta. Move somewhere else. Because if he's anywhere in that, the what's the other counties? I know it's Fulton County, it's Gwinnett. If he anywhere within that range, he gonna go back to Atlanta. You say he should have stayed those 3 months. He should have just fought it, yo. I'd have fought it. Like, yo, we came too far. I've been locked up 2.5 years. The trial, we in the middle of the trial. We're gonna sit like another year, maybe. And then after I'd have won, I'd have sued the socks off of, like, I'd have sued the shit out of him. And I guarantee he had to sign. Well, he already played good, so he ain't had to sign that. Man, I'd have sued the socks off them people, man. Man, wrongful conviction, wrongful whatever. I forgot what the charge called, but I'd have sued them, yo, because that case was horrendous. Like, I'm intrigued to see how they're going to proceed with the next two. So 2 of the guys, was everybody offered the deal? He said, don't go to Cali. Yeah, once it's that. I get it, man. Trust me, I get it. He said his kids were hurting and medical issues. All right, I mean, shit, I get it. Like, that's all I can tell you. I get it. He said he got medical issues. It was a joke, Felicia. That's what I'm saying. I just couldn't see me taking that deal. I really couldn't. I didn't think that. I'm just saying, when you looked at that trial, you had to know that it wasn't a jury in America that would have found them. Not Thug. Maybe some of the other guys. But it wasn't a jury in the world that have found Thug guilty with that evidence. Like my man that took the 9 years, he got the best deal. He got a better deal than Thug. And Thug got the high-powered attorney. It got to be a situation where he gonna go back in 5 years and the judge is gonna exit out. Maybe that's what it is, yo. Maybe in the next 5 years when he go back, judge gonna exit the whole thing out. Hold up, y'all. Let me see if my video uploaded. Come on now. I can't go to YouTube yet, y'all. I got with my video upload. Well, yeah, sleep to Thug. Welcome home, young Thug, man. Been a long time coming, man. God damn. Yo, but Fannie won, though, y'all. Fannie Willis got what she wanted. She got what she wanted. You say, why Fannie Lucci home in 2 months? See, Lucci be home in 2 months. I wonder how that's going to play out.
Anything that you want to...
Well, I don't think Thug, but the whole YSL locked up. So look at this, though, y'all. So they saying they got some type of tapes on Diddy. That motherfucker I didn't even save this shit. I hate when I do that. Just looking at the goddamn thing. Hold on.
Anything that you want to say?
Here you go. All right, look, y'all. It's a grand jury subpoena a new witness in Diddy's case, claims to have sex tapes and an unedited version of Kim Porter's diary. Says the Combs kids have bigger things to worry about. They should have started worrying when he was beating her. When you start worrying about your mother after the fact. What? They should have started worrying when he was beating her. When you start... Let's see what this is about, y'all. Hold on, let's read the article. The blockbuster Diddy case is continuing to pick up steam with grand jury subpoenaing a new witness to give testimony and submit evidence. Courtney Burgess claims he had footage of sexual acts from Diddy parties and an unedited version of Kim Porter's diary. He says those materials have been turned over to the courts. Burgess says he was contacted by Homeland Security after his lawyer, Ariel Mitchell, did an on-air interview and made claims of him having the said evidence. Burgess says the footage contains the rumored sexual activities and confirms that other celebrities were present on the tapes. He also spoke out about the Combs family denying that Kim had a real memoir. He made it clear that the version we all saw previously was edited, but the one he had was not. His message to the kids that they should have been more concerned about their mind before. All right, so let's check this guy out. Who the fuck is this guy? Feds probably gave him the tapes. You know the Feds playing dirty, man. You know y'all know they leaking tapes, right? Said lawyer said Durk would be out. He probably is. They ain't indicted him yet. They gotta do something. Yo, as long as them boys don't crack, yo, Durk gonna be in good shape. Cause they don't have no evidence on Durk. Yo, like the Feds is not gonna take with the money Durk got. Cause the Feds drop cases. They actually drop more cases than they lose. I don't know how many people know that. I looked it up a while ago. The Feds drop more cases than they lose. So if the 5 guys that they got don't crack, man, Durk is in great shape. Because all they got is that text message. That text message, I don't think the Feds would take him to trial with that text message. I don't think that'd be wise. I really don't. I think that'd be stupid. You know, the Feds been thirsty lately, man. They've been locking everybody up with anything.
No, we're trying to just go to discuss that now, what we will be able to talk to in terms of what was available and what was on those flash drives.
Okay.
But it was the book, so.
So it is Kim Porter's book, but not necessarily some of the stuff with the celebs that were mentioned besides.
It's hers. Nobody touched it.
Oh, so it is her official book.
Yes.
How did he get her book?
And no one touched it.
Nobody altered it. Nothing.
So it's not the copy that the gentleman said that he was selling before. No.
No.
It's 2 different copies. That one was edited, and we have the original copy.
So you're saying that the other copy was an actual real copy, even though the family said it wasn't.
It was a derivative
Yeah.
one.
It's edited. The only way the
You
family
can
say
explain that text so many different ways.
I forgot his name. Albie Show.
Yeah.
Yeah. And besides
Man,
that,
you ain't lying,
I
Mike.
didn't know. A lot of stuff their mother did, they didn't know. And I'd like to see apologize to the mother and the family.
No, we're trying to just go to discuss that now, what we will be able to talk to in terms of what was available and what was on those flash drives.
And the family for the picture being on front of it.
Right.
You understand? I didn't put it there.
Right.
So,
Exactly, Felicia. The
you
Feds
gotta worry
leaking
about
it.
bigger things.
Feds probably gave it to
Than
him.
what her diary was. You understand?
Right.
They should have started worrying when he was beating her.
Right.
When you start worrying about your mother after the fact.
Right. So
Yeah, he coming
the
at
book.
these kids
Do you
now.
think that now? Do you think it'll ever be open to the public?
So
or
you care more about their mother than they did? Is that what you trying to say, big man? Get the fuck out of here. Yeah, like he's so concerned Like, yo, people be tripping me out. How you gonna talk bad about the woman kids? Like, you care more about it than they did. The fuck out of here, man.
After this, or
that'll be the next thing. I've been contracted to go to Amazon and
y'all funny as
work
shit.
out whatever legalities.
You do look like TD.
Prior, so that we can republish it.
wow, so the public will get to see her actual words and thoughts.
So very soon, the actual
Right.
version. We'll be
That-
putting that out soon.
So I mean, I'm wondering, do you own the rights, I guess, or how does that work?
I guess I'm right. Just give it to me,
I'll
right?
say possession.
And the family.
Who gave it to
Picture
you?
being on front of it.
Right. Has been in contact with you. I did watch your YouTube interview. I saw as of 2 weeks ago they haven't been in contact with you. What about today?
Yes.
Hey, yo,
So they
fuck
have
no,
been in
Travis.
contact with you. Is that why you're here today?
Yes.
Okay.
Land security.
Oh wow. So were you surprised, or was that the call that you were kind of waiting for?
Surprise.
Oh. Do you feel like the interview had had anything to do with it, or
Yes.
yeah? How do you know Sean Combs?
Generation. Frank Lucas is my godfather and his father, and then we both was in the music business for 30 years together.
So you personally know him,
Not who, no person.
Sean Combs.
Not
Diddy.
personally.
But you know of
Who
him.
the
he
fuck
knows
is
you.
he?
Yeah, I used to be in Tupac, Hussein Fatal. He stopped a lot of my music.
Yeah, Travis. I believe so too.
Didn't care about it. You understand? There's a lot around today
They try to make it
So,
something that it ain't.
from Def Jam Records.
Has been in contact with you. I did watch your YouTube interview.
Cause he act like he's just this important figure. Like, where the fuck did he come from? Talking about he Frank Lewis' nephew. Did Frank did he rap?
You made a lot of allegations, right? Are you expected to eventually turn those things over, or
Well, that's what we're going to head over to do now. So we have a hearing now to determine what we're going to do in terms of what documents will
Hey,
have.
Felicia, did Frank Lewis tell?
So why were you in court tonight?
Just to give testimony to the grand jury. He was subpoenaed by the court. So as we all know, if you don't answer a subpoena, the marshals will come to your house as they came to his house, and they will bring you here. So that's why we're here today.
I know you can't mention celebrities per se. You did mention some in the interview. So just to clarify, you can back that up with actual factual footage.
We have, it's things that we have, but we got to go to the other courthouse. So I don't know if that's any more questions, but we got another hearing to go.
Are you nervous, or do you feel?
So they did a YouTube interview. Yeah, we gotta check that out.
I ain't never nervous. The only thing that's fair to me is
We gotta check out that YouTube interview. He must have said some. Yo, come on now. Look, this how they always do me, y'all. Why is this taking so long? Yo, I've been live for 43 minutes. I tried to upload this video. So let me tell you what they do, right? So if I was to go through with the video, right now it should be green. Look, it's green right now. So it's monetized. Now, if I was to hit next and upload the video, this bitch gonna turn back yellow. That's how they be doing me. Fuck your money up. But I need to get on YouTube. Let me do it this way. All right, yeah, we can do it this way. The fuck I wanted to look up. Oh yeah, let's see what the fuck going on with this Diddy shit. Hit that like button, y'all. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. Yo, what's up with ADAM22? Why ADAM22 playing my man Durky, yo? My man Smirk Carter, man. So that's why, yo, see, that's the shit that be pissing me off with these vultures. And then you got, matter of fact, we'll get to him. And then you got vultures and black guys that motherfucking stamp these vultures like a brick baby. Brick baby a clown. Wish I seen him in real life. I'd tell him to his face, he a clown. All that on hood shit, nigga. You a clown, nigga. Clown
Sean
ass
Diddy
name.
Combs could be facing brand new charges in his criminal case out of New York as more and more apparent victims of his alleged bad behavior come forward with
Hey
accusations.
Benji, a doctor said it was a doctor on Law and Crime, man. He said her health was neglected. Like, yo, they trying to make it seem like it was something that it was. He said, man, her health was neglected, man. Like he said, he ain't never heard of no shit that can cause pneumonia-like symptoms. She probably had underlying illnesses that she didn't know about.
In civil
Yeah, Dale, he got
lawsuits.
banned.
As a grand
He can't go to
jury
Atlanta
may be
forever.
convening in the Southern District of New York, we're going to take a closer look at what this could mean for the disgraced rapper, and we'll break it all down with a current professor of law. Welcome to Sidebar, presented by Law and Crime. I'm Jesse
Ain't
Weber.
my goddamn Wi-Fi. What you talking about? It's YouTube.
Dramatic news in the legal saga surrounding Sean Diddy Combs, who's currently embroiled in scandal after scandal after scandal in multiple different courts. Well, is it possible that he could be slapped with new charges in connection with the government's racketeering conspiracy and sex crimes case? Well, it is being reported that a New York grand jury could be hearing new evidence in Combs' criminal case. In fact, attorney Ariel Mitchell-Kidd told NBC News on Wednesday that a male client of hers was going to testify before a grand jury in the Southern District of New York today. And a source familiar with those proceedings confirmed to NBC that a man is expected to testify. Now, grand jury proceedings are, of course, private. We usually never know what goes down behind those closed doors. But
why they tell us today?
Is filed.
See, this the thing that's pissing me off about this Diddy shit. Everything is public. Yo, since when do we know when the grand jury convened? Charlene, like, yo, it's like, yo, they giving us fucking minute-to-minute updates to Diddy. Like, you won't miss nothing. It's by the minute. Don't you know how, like, they be having them sports trackers where you can just watch the score as it happens? They need to do that. They might as well start one of them pages with Diddy case. Give us a play-by-play of everything that's going on, because that's what the fuck they doing anyway. They might as well make an app and you can just go straight to it and see what the fuck up the minute. 6:05, grand jury testimony. 6:50, Diddy took a shit. Like, yo, why are they releasing so much information on Diddy? Yo, it got me thinking that they don't really got a case. You know, it's like they just trying to kill Diddy in public opinion, because y'all know how this go. If you kill him in public opinion, the court process is a breeze. It's a breeze. That's why I be fighting against it, yo, because I see what they doing. At least get a man a fair trial, man. You know, regardless if he did it or not, get a man a fair trial. Everybody deserves a fair trial. Don't run all over top of them in public opinion and in media, but you got lackluster evidence. No, we ain't rocking with that, man. That's bogus. That's bogus.
Basically, what you hear it supersedes or overwrites the first one. New charges, upgraded charges, could be a combination of both. This is very, very significant. And as a reminder, this is what the original indictment filed in September had to say. Quote, the defendant engaged in a persistent and pervasive pattern of abuse toward women
You already know it.
Corner, pleasuring himself.
Oh,
So
shit.
this on this.
Here she
The
go.
forum lady was the one.
Where the fuck she
about
come
her
from?
client's apparent connection to.
She was with him that night. It wasn't until recently, when the pictures have been coming across all over the internet of her, that she said, this is the lady who was there that night. It was the lady who I described to the police, who I did not identify or have a name, but that the Christina Courtroom lady was the one who had started to make jokes about sex trafficking my client, that she would be very good on the open market kind of thing. She said that kind of made her feel uncomfortable. And then she got a drink and then started to feel woozy. And then Mr. Combs first sexually assaulted her with an adamant object, and then directed another gentleman who was there to then penetrate her while he was in the corner pleasuring himself, while Mr. Combs was in the corner pleasuring himself.
So this almost sounds like what's been alleged in these freak off situations.
Absolutely. It was And I've talked to several other individuals.
Hey,
who I have
Robert,
not
hey,
taken on
sometimes
as
you gotta do that.
clients. I do not take on everyone who contacts me as a client. There's
Yeah,
a
he a
level of
freaky
due
man.
diligence that I do conduct and a level of evidence that I need to see in order to make a good faith basis to file a complaint. I do have obligations as an attorney and the bar ethically, and I also have my own moral obligations. So when we come and talk about things of this nature, I always have to use some type of corroborating evidence, either from individuals as witnesses, pictures, something to corroborate that this actually occurred. So I've had other individuals call me and tell me very similar stories, but unfortunately those individuals were not American citizens. They were foreign nationals who were trafficked into Miami by Mr. Combs, but because I could not verify their story, I was unable to take
Hold
them
on, y'all. Let me see if they uploaded my video yet. Yo, this is crazy, yo. Like, yo, they be killing me with the dumb shit, yo. How does a video take an hour to upload? How? YouTube. Come on now.
clients.
Now, that was an anonymous female victim that she spoke about with
He
Anjanette,
pissed off that
while
liquor
she told
company.
NBC News that it's one of her male clients who is set to
That's
testify
what he
in front of
pissed
this
off.
grand jury. Now, there is something that we can say almost with a certainty, that if there is a superseding indictment, that is going to affect the trial date, right? May 5th, 2025, the current scheduled trial date. New charges could be new evidence to look at, new discovery to go through, new witnesses to find and interview, new experts to find. Depending on the charges, defenses could change too. It's a lot to go through. It's a lot that could change. So it seems to me, if that he really is subject to a superseding indictment, that trial date will be pushed off. Now, throughout all of this, Combs has staunchly maintained.
Yeah, you're right. He should have said,
to
give me the
clear,
5.
He has not been found criminally
Give
responsible.
me the 5,
He's
no
not been found
parole.
guilty. He has not been found civilly
Well, give me
liable
7. Like you
for
said, give me
any
7.
sort of sexual misconduct or sex.
You right, y'all, Robert. That would have been a better deal.
Proud pro-life legislator.
That definitely would have been a better deal. Give me 7.
Abortion ban with no
Do like
exceptions
another
for
year and a
rape or
half.
incest, and called
Come
the
home.
overturning of Roe v. Wade, quote, a major step forward. Rob Mercuri is dangerous.
So you think you know Wix? Do you really? First up, we've got Shake Video Max.
They ain't had only 3 years probation, but like 3 years to back
says
up.
they are looking forward to making their case in court.
Some old shit
and
like
they have
that.
said that Combs himself is likely to take the stand in his own defense and tell his side of the story. Well, we'll talk about that. Okay, so with all that in mind, I want to talk about these latest developments, and I want to bring in Professor Marion.
Yeah, we can talk about y'all. See what the fuck his freaky ass been up to. I seen they let him on bond, and the shit he did was disgusting. Like, I don't know how he got a bail. That shit he did was way more disgusting than Diddy. Way more.
Abercrombie and Fitch, the fashion mega brand worth billions of dollars, they are in the spotlight for the alleged actions of the man who led the company for 2 decades. But Mike Jeffries and Abercrombie, they have been in the headlines before for apparent bad behavior. As Jeffries now stands accused of running an international sex trafficking operation, we're going to take a look at the multiple controversies the brand has weathered over the years. Welcome to Sidebar,
Yeah, I know, that shit was
presented by Law and
disgusting.
Crime. I'm Jesse Weber. Hey everybody, this is a Law and Crime legal alert. A mother was recently awarded millions of dollars in a lawsuit against baby formula manufacturers.
Hey, when is Diddy next bail here?
With necrotizing enterocolitis or models for the men's
Like-
and parents' sex sessions. 80-year-old Michael Jackson as a recruiter, maybe
Nasty
tester
bastard.
would be the better word, luring or allegedly luring in young male models for the men's apparent sex sessions.
He did like a freak, don't
Jeffries
he?
pleaded not guilty to 16 criminal charges.
Oh,
in the
freaky
New York
ass
federal
nigga.
court last week. He's accused of international sex trafficking and prostitution. The former CEO of Abercrombie & Fitch was arrested in his home state of Florida, where he put up a $10 million bond. He was released, smiling for the cameras as he left. He then traveled to New York, where he was arraigned, entered his plea. He has to wear a GPS monitor.
Did they
We're
really
told
let him out?
that would restrict his movements to New York City, Long Island, the Southern District of Florida. His partner, 61-year-old Matthew Smith, also turned himself in, but he's being held without bail because of his dual citizenship. You see, Smith is also a citizen in the United Kingdom, which prosecutors say could increase the chances that he can make a run for it. So he's actually not entered a plea as of yet. And then we go to the third man in this alleged awful triangle, James Jacobson, who lives in Wisconsin. According to the criminal indictment, Jacobson served as a recruiter, convincing young male models who wanted to make it in the industry and get a huge opportunity with Abercrombie that they needed to perform non-consensual sex.
You already know, Felicia.
Alleged co-conspirators.
That happened to your nose.
And
you probably can't even breathe.
Plea. He's out on a $500,000.
Yeah.
The accusations against these men
I thought your nose caved in like that.
As well as his alleged co-conspirator.
Yo, there's no way he can breathe, y'all. Check it out. There's no way he can breathe with that nose. He'll probably be congested all the time. Oh, nasty ass.
To make that happen. He also entered a not guilty plea. He's out on a $500,000 bond. The accusations against these men are incredibly disturbing, incredibly graphic. If you want to learn more, read the indictment. We actually did a prior sidebar on this. But the alleged victims say that Jeffries took this Abercrombie brand from a struggling company to a fashion powerhouse in the 1990s and early 2000s. And they allege that when he did this, he was basically elevated to an untouchable status within the company. There's this other class action lawsuit, and it claims that other executives within Abercrombie, they knew what was going on, but they kept funding Jeffries' lifestyle because he was so profitable and valuable to the company. And this allegedly included funding and facilitating orgies disguised as casting calls. Now, as we talk about Abercrombie, I can't overstate its presence. For those of us growing up at the turn of the century, this was
DJs at the polls is bringing the beats to local polling locations on election day. Remember, who you vote for.
I know, right? And they kept that shit on the low. Like it been on the news, but this the thing. This how this the difference. So when it's one of us, that shit get broadcasted all over the place. Story after story is ran on it. As opposed to when it's one of them, they might run a story for a couple days, then it die out. Like they've been watching this motherfucker since last year. Like when we looked into his indictment, man, we was finding videos from last year. Bitch might got 5,000 views. Like how the fuck is a video on something this disgusting only got 5,000 views? They could ain't promoting that shit. That's why YouTube ain't recommending that motherfucker.
Now, under Jeffries' leadership, Abercrombie was bringing in billions of dollars. But that kind of success sometimes comes with controversy. And while some of Abercrombie's problems have been with their public image, others have been battles that have played out in the courtroom. And that's what we're going to get into. That's what we're going to focus on, to get a better idea of the context and background of this company, because its company and its former CEO are now thrust into the spotlight in a very new way. So, I want to start with some pretty questionable t-shirt designs from the company. For instance, there were those that appeared to have a central theme. Racist jokes about the Asian community. You might remember this. The shirts that were released in 2002, they had slogans like Pizza Dojo, You Love Long Time, Eat In or Walk Out, and Wong Brothers Laundry Service, 2 Wongs can make it white.
Hey, what the fuck?
Protests in front of Abercrombie stores.
What shit is that?
Emails and letters. In fact, just 1 week after the shirts were put on shelves,
they should be sued.
The spokesman for Abercrombie told the Associated Press at the time that the company
you ain't hear about no lawsuits on Abercrombie
yet. But here's the thing. CEO Mike Jeffries, who we're talking about right now, never made any sort of formal apology. But the company continued to face backlash for its t-shirt designs, with more protests in 2004 over shirts that said it's all relative in West Virginia, seemingly referencing the stereotype of incestuous relationships in rural America.
Oh shit!
And at the time, West Virginia's governor actually called out the company for promoting what he said.
There's some freaky motherfuckers in that industry, boy. I tell you, this is crazy.
There was also backlash over a 2009 back-to-school collection that said things like female streaking encouraged and female students wanted for sexual research. Do you remember this? I mean, looking back, I can't believe they actually made these shirts. But there was something else that happened that really didn't help their PR image. Because in 2006, CEO Mike Jeffries famously did an interview with Salon magazine about the company's target customer. And this is what he said. That's why we hire good-looking people in our stores, because good-looking people attract other good-looking people, and we want to market to cool, good-looking
That's
people.
A wild ass
we don't market to anyone other than that. In every school, there are the cool and popular kids, and then there are the not-so-cool kids. Candidly, we go after the cool kids. We go after the attractive, all-American kid with a great attitude and a lot of friends. A lot of people don't belong in our clothes, and they can't belong. Are we exclusionary? Absolutely.
Damn.
Yikes. And with that, Abercrombie has long been criticized, primarily because they say they focus on white, thin customers, that image. And its guidelines for what it wants employees to look like, that has drawn criticism too. In June 2003, a lawsuit known as Gonzalez v. Abercrombie Fitch stores accused the retailer of violating Title VII of the Civil Rights Act of 1964. You see, the plaintiffs in this class action lawsuit alleged that Abercrombie, they focused on hiring white men as employees, turning down female applicants, as well as people who were Latino, Black, Asian American. If those people were hired, the plaintiff said, they were relegated to backroom jobs where they wouldn't really be seen on the sales floor. As part of a settlement,
how the fuck they last this long now? They got all this bullshit around their name. Let that would have been another business. That bitch would have been shut down, terminated.
They also were told to revise their hiring practices and internal complaint procedures. They also had to appoint a vice president of diversity, hire recruiters that were specifically seeking out minority applicants, and they also had to include more minorities in marketing materials. Now, let's not forget, Abercrombie is a global brand.
You ain't even talking about the lawsuit.
Some of their controversies, they have happened across the pond, and that includes in the 2009 case of Rhiam Dean. Now, she was a British law student who had worked at the company's flagship store in London. Now, Dean was born without a left forearm, and she wears a prosthetic. She says Abercrombie initially allowed her to wear clothing that hid her prosthetic, but later on, she says the company decided that she had breached the look policy,
man, they need to bring
sent her
back.
to work in the
Fubu
stockroom.
for a while.
She sued for disability discrimination, and a tribunal ruled that she was wrongfully dismissed and unlawfully harassed. In the end, she was awarded over $10,000 in damages.
Wow.
Now let's fast forward now to 2013. And this is when BuzzFeed obtains copies of Abercrombie's employee lookbook. And this lookbook details the company's really intense employee appearance policies, including the color of one's hair, how long your fingernails could be, how much jewelry you could wear. Brings us, of course, to Abercrombie's policies about headwear. So now we go to June 2008. A 17-year-old named Samantha Eloff applied for a sales position at an Abercrombie kids store at a Tulsa, Oklahoma mall. Now, here's the thing. She wore a hijab in accordance with her Islamic religious beliefs. She claimed that the manager told her that the headscarf violated the store's look policy, so they weren't going to hire her.
Damn.
Well, the Equal Employment Opportunity Commission sued on her behalf.
Abercrombie
that led to a long court battle where she initially won $20,000 in damages, but an appeals court over.
Election day is Tuesday, November 5th. Make a plan.
Why they not winning no money?
And cast your ballot.
20,000, 10,000. The fuck is that? That's chump change. They probably get that shit to them out the register. They had to write a check for that. Yeah, we gonna get this out the register. Go get them all cash.
The case went all the way to the Supreme Court, which ruled 8-1 in her favor, and namely said and ruled that an employer can't refuse to hire someone so they can avoid religious accommodation. And as that case was ongoing, Abercrombie was faced with another dilemma over a headscarf. You see, a Muslim woman who worked at a Hollister store in California in 2010 says that she was fired because she refused to remove her hijab. But Human Resources said it violated their
y'all be having
policy.
tornadoes and shit down there.
Well, a company representative reportedly contacted Hani Khan more than a week after she was fired,
you gotta be safe out there,
back,
man.
but the condition was she couldn't wear the hijab. Khan refused. In the end, a federal judge ruled that Abercrombie discriminated against her, holding, quote, reasonable jurors could determine that by offering Khan one option to remove her hijab despite her religious beliefs, Abercrombie acted with malice, reckless indifference. Now, all of these controversies that I mentioned, they were thrust into the spotlight once again recently in a 2022 Netflix documentary called White Hot, The Rise and Fall of Abercrombie and Fitch.
55 of them?
Employees and activists, they
I ain't
talked
never
about
even seen no
many of the
tornado
issues
for
that I
her.
just mentioned. But it was a BBC documentary that now thrust the company back into the
Lil One.
arguably is the reason that the company's former CEO is now in federal court. This long-running
Man, they ain't even talking about nothing.
Covered.
See, that's the crazy thing about it. They ain't talking about. They talking about the company. I want to hear about his freaky ass, freaky bitch, out here doing all that nasty ass shit to people. Yo, come on, YouTube. Yo, this is out of control, yo. This is ridiculous. Now watch. Now watch when I go to unlisted. Watch what they do. They're gonna turn the bitch yellow on me. They think they know what they doing. They're gonna turn the bitch yellow on me. Then it's gonna delay my video from coming out. So y'all, this video is an hour long. How King Von took down Lil Durk, O Block, and OTF. That's crazy. Yo, so ADAM22, man. If I ever go to my man Byron Blake video first. ADAM22 did a diss song. A diss song on Lil Durk. Have y'all heard that? What the fuck is send that shit up? Go my man Byron Blake, man. My man Byron Blake did a video on it.
I can't even lie, man. I'm so disgusted with what I'm seeing right now. This show you how much disregard they really got for us as rappers, entertainers, and as humans. Adam, you want to know why people be having a problem with you, bro? You facilitate stuff like this. Trap Lord Ross is basically mocking Durk and King Von after making money off of them and helping to get Durk locked up and O-Block locked up. Now, before the trap lore officers come get in my comments, oh, some British dude making a video about some guys in America can't get them locked up. It's hearsay. It's not even evidence. They telling on themselves. Let me stop you and show you the truth. In the case, they have defense attorneys and prosecuting attorneys, but they all attorneys. And yes, attorneys are allowed to choose from many types of evidence, including documentary evidence, which is a real type of evidence.
It's documentary evidence includes
any type of written, verbal, or visual recordings, photographs, audio recordings. All of these things can be used.
I appreciate it, Vera.
Create what
you gotta make sure you check my upload up. I'm trying to get the upload out.
I know a lot of y'all think, oh, that's hearsay. It's inadmissible because they
trying to get this out by when my live over with.
In order for documentary evidence to be admitted at trial, it has to follow FRE Rule 402 or 403. For those of y'all don't know what that is, that's Federal Rules of Evidence 402 or 403. Now I know
Trump's policies
some of y'all
would add $6 trillion to the debt.
Harris's policy, but let me tell you the difference. Documentary evidence also is required to.
Yo, did y'all see that ADAM22 thing? ADAM22 need to be stopped. I'm sick of his ass. Brick baby. Yo, I can't believe Brick baby turned out to be a fucking clown. Anybody that say on hood every 3 seconds is you already know what type of shit they on. On Rolling 60s crib. Sit dumb ass up, nigga. Dumb ass young nigga. Big responded whack, calm on a snitch. ADAM22 numbers are struggling. And his numbers are struggling. What the song at, y'all? Have y'all seen the song? Is this it? No, ain't it. ADAM22. This Durk. Yo, what's the name of that song, y'all? What is it called? What Vaughn would do? My fucking knee hurt. Man, Thug wild as a... Thug gonna be mad as shit tomorrow when he wake up. Be like, damn, I really took that dumbass plea. No jumper. Abercrombie says beef with GDs and BDs in these songs. What, the song ain't come out yet? Let me see if my man Hookah Anonymous. Man, see the Hookah Anonymous, man. He a friend of the channel, man. Yeah, his numbers then took a dip. His numbers definitely took a dip. And Thug ain't fucking with that boy. I don't think so. Anyway, he better not.
At this point, I think your boy Adam, well, not even think. I know that Adam is basically doing this just for attention. And it's kind of, here's why it's unfortunate, man. But I've learned over the years to stop really talking about stuff that other people don't care about that's closest to the situation, right? This man has overly dissed both sides, whether you GD, BD, no matter what you are.
Yo, how to plead down, bro. The man, yo, the case was featherweight. That shit was paper thin. All he had to do was stand firm. That's all he had to do. See, yo, what the state's attorney does, yo, what they do to people is, yo, they lock you up with this lackluster evidence. And they just string the case along. So eventually you get tired of sitting. Then they throw some little weak ass deal out there and you take it. That's the game. You know, when you in there, you gotta play the game. Sometimes you gotta play the waiting game. Yo, Thug copped out to a 40-year sentence. Like everybody's saying he coming home, yo, but he copped out to a 40-year sentence. 15 years probation. 20 years if you violate the probation. And then he got a mountain of special conditions. He got banned from Atlanta. He got banned from his hometown for at least the next 15 years. Yo, that was a terrible plea deal. I'd have never signed that. Especially with the case. The case that fell apart 25 different ways. Watch them two guys that's fighting it. Watch they beat them. I don't know what they got on them, so I can't say that. But they didn't have nothing on Thug. Other guys, give us a take, is what it do. Other guys took way better deals. Like the dude that was facing the 3 life sentences, he got 9 years. If I'd rather had that deal. For real, like, yo, that deal was terrible. They're gonna be sending Thug to jail for the rest of his life. Hell no, that ain't the only way you violate. You can violate for getting shot. You can violate for a dirty urine. You can violate for a speeding ticket. You can violate for a hit and run. Yo, it's 1,000,010 ways to violate, yo. 1,000,010 ways. And them motherfuckers will violate you every which way. Yeah, they violate you for whatever they can get you on. It can be technical or it can be a real violation. So the 9 gonna get out to around 5. Dude gonna have, yeah, for real. It's not just done. Look at this. Yeah, like that was a horrible deal, yo. I'd have never signed that deal, yo, ever in a million years. Like I can see if the case was strong. If the case strong, you basically at the mercy of the court. You gotta do what you gotta do. They got you. Yo, but we sat there and watched that trial, yo, for 2 years. At least all this year. And yo, I didn't see nothing implicating Thug. No hardcore evidence. So why would you take a deal? Yo, his lawyer shouldn't even advise them to take a deal. Yo, Brian Steele probably told him don't take it. Man, I don't know, Thug. I think this is a horrible idea. Because, yo, if they want to violate you, they will. They'll find ways. Driving on suspended, violation. Driving without a license, violation. What if your license gets suspended and you don't know? You riding down the street, you get pulled over the whole time your license suspended. You forgot to pay a ticket or forgot to pay some type of fine or some type of citation. Now that's a criminal traffic case. That's the thing, yo. I don't think people realize. I didn't even notice that until I caught a hit and run. Yo, some of these traffic cases are criminal, and they violate you for that shit. Off traffic. I just think, yo, they should have been able to come up with something better than that. That first deal they threw out there, I don't even think that was real. I think they just did that for TV. It was no way he was copping out to 25 years prison time. Like, I don't know, that wasn't no real deal. Yo, he ain't had to have a mistrial. The judge wasn't going to grant no mistrial. The judge wasn't trying to grant no mistrial. Even if the case was strong, it's still a weird deal. Yeah, for real. Like, I just couldn't take, yo, you talking about 15 years probation, 20 years over my head. Thug, what, 32, 33 years old? Thug gonna be on probation till he's 48. And shit, if he violate, all they're gonna do is keep putting him on probation. That's like one of them, yo, they need to ban those type of deals. They're not good deals. They're not good deals. Yo, everybody not everybody. Yo, but a large percentage of Georgia jails is filled up with parole violators, probation violators. Like, that's how they keep their jails packed. We're gonna put you on probation for 75 years and we'll see you. You'll be back. Yo, because if you look at the numbers, yo, most people violate. Everybody don't complete their terms of their probation, man. Motherfuckers is violating left and right. Like, I wouldn't even put myself. And then the lifestyle of a rapper, he got to change his whole lifestyle. You got to change his whole lifestyle. He can't live the rapper lifestyle no more because rapper's lifestyle, shit happens. You liable to put yourself in a situation being a rapper. 144K, what it is. Yeah, the most in America, man. Atlanta, they terrible with that shit. Hey, yo, where's that ADAM22 shit? Matter of fact, let's finish watching my man. Why, yo? What the fuck? I could... They keep fucking me over. Hold up now. Now my whole thing gonna start over. Now watch. When I go back to that video, watch it ain't monetized. Yo, y'all gotta stick around, yo. I'm gonna upload this video. Hopefully by the time my live over. Y'all been working on this video for about 8 days. Non-stop the last 2 days. Cause I'm like, man, I gotta get this shit out. My computer been geeking today. Like, for real. Oh yeah, my computer turned off. Ain't even off. Shit's stupid. He said my uncle went to prison for murder and he's on parole for the rest of his life. He had to move out of Houston. Yeah, you got to. You got to, man. If you really want to give yourself a chance. You want to give yourself a chance. And then he banned. Like, how you going to ban a man from his hometown? Like, he probably, his family probably live in the metro Atlanta area. Like, how you just ban a man? I don't know, man. I don't think that would have been. I don't know. I mean, hopefully he can pull it off. He got stay in the house. That's what I tell him to do. Stay in the house. Don't do no shows. No partying. Because you don't want, because anything can happen. That's the thing about that parole probation shit. Anything could happen. Anything. And them people will send you back. Gladly. No questions asked. Like, it ain't even, ain't enough for debate. Them people will send you back. Quick. Hold up, y'all. People would send you back. What the fuck happened to my video, man? Yo, they still, the video still in checks. Yo. The video is still in checks. Wow. It's crazy. Hold on, y'all. I think it's some more Lil Durk news. I can't find, for some reason, I can't find the what, they ain't come out yet? Music studio, stash house takedown. The fuck is this? There's some Baltimore news.
27 years in politics changed Bob Casey, letting men
I ain't
compete in
uploaded yet. Where
girls'
people say
sports,
that?
higher
I
taxes,
blocked
and
no jumper
senior
on
Social
my
Security.
on
After
my
27
YouTube page.
years,
I mean on my
we
Instagram.
need change. Bob
I
Casey's
think I blocked his ass when he posted that shit that he did on Thanksgiving.
Spent several years in prison for his role in this drug trafficking operation. He was released from prison 2 years ago, but 4 months later went on the run. Now the U.S. Marshal Service needs your help tracking him down.
June 2015, Prince George's County, Maryland. Vincent Collins is indicted by a grand jury for his role in a federal drug trafficking operation.
We're talking about large amounts of heroin.
The U.S. Attorney's Office for the District of Maryland breaking down the case. According to the plea agreement, over a 4-month period, Collins would receive large amounts of heroin from its operation leader for redistribution. And during that time, the organization would use the music studio Crooked House Entertainment here in District Heights, Maryland, to carry out operations.
The criminal conspiracy and participants allegedly used a music studio as a stash house.
Al Maresca is a deputy marshal with the U.S. Marshal Service. He says drug trafficking organizations will often use storefronts to conceal drug LLCs.
Anytime you have any type of drug trafficking conspiracy, there's going to be a need to cover the high level of traffic that's going to come in and out. And oftentimes criminals resort to using legitimate businesses to further their criminal enterprise.
This organization, investigators say, responsible for pushing large amounts of heroin into communities across Maryland.
Heroin is an extremely dangerous drug. Anybody who's under the influence of that narcotic can experience head nods. They can unfortunately go to a point where the system slows down so much that they overdose and pass away.
The following year, Collins entered into a plea agreement and pleaded guilty to conspiracy to distribute and possess with intent to distribute controlled substances and possession of a firearm in furtherance of a drug trafficking crime.
Based upon his plea agreement, Collins was sentenced to serve 160 months in prison.
13 years in prison, but Collins serving about half of that sentence.
So Collins was sentenced to 160 months, but he didn't serve that entire sentence.
No, in this case, he actually won his appeal.
Years after his conviction, investigators say Collins appealed his sentence. Collins argued the scale a judge used to determine the length of his sentence was inaccurate. Judges rely on sentencing guidelines, as shown in this table, weighing the seriousness of the offense with the offender's criminal history category to determine a range of months for sentencing. Investigators say Collins argued his criminal history wasn't calculated correctly. Collins won his appeal, and in October 2022,
he won his appeal, and as a result, he was released early.
But just 4 months later, investigators say Collins violated the terms of his supervised release.
So he's released in October 2022. He's on supervised probation, but at some point he violates that.
So he's wanted for a violation of supervised release. In this instance, he was released from federal prison, and while he was supposed to report in with the probation officer, he failed to do so on multiple occasions.
That was in February 2023, nearly 2 years ago. Fast forward to now, Collins is 45 years old and on the run.
Oh, man.
Authorities stress he must.
I know he was on the run. Oh, shit. Thought he already got caught. Why are they coming at the Chris Brown now? 10 horrifying details in Chris Brown, A History of Violence documentary. I don't like Law and Crime Network, y'all. Law and Crime Network is they need to go back to what the fuck they was doing before they started doing this. Like, them motherfuckers a little
The
bit
United
too nosy.
States Military Academy, West Point. It gave me the code I live
Rainbow to
by.
God, what it do?
Duty, honor, country. Bob Casey's had 18 years, and he's never made
Yeah,
a
I ain't
difference.
feeling Law and Crime Network. Law and Crime Network on some culture vulture shit. Like, they shifting all their content over toward us. Like, that ain't what y'all ain't come here to do that. They saying what that YNW Melly case did. Now that's all the fuck. Now you saying Diddy, Durk, and they don't even know what the fuck they talking about. Like, I watched the Law and Crime Network, and the dude said that Durk was with King Von. What did he say? Yeah, Durk was with King Von when King Von got killed. Like, yo, y'all don't even got y'all facts straight. Like, yo, just stay the fuck over there. Y'all was completely fine over there. We don't. They the ones that got the whole world thinking Woody is a fucking somebody to be laughed at or somebody that's entertaining. A goddamn Law and Crime Network. The fuck out of here, man. Y'all fucking the culture up even more. It's unwanted. That's why I always gotta watch their videos so I can.
Week. I'm Dave McCormick. I approve this message.
No.
Donate today.
Refute this dumb
Jail's
shit.
really fun. Make your website on Wix.
Hey, where how ridiculous?
I do interview with anybody. Long as we talking some real shit. You know? Long as we talking real shit, I do interview with anybody. You know, anybody I talk about, we could talk about it face to face. Or on Zoom, or however you do it.
Just how today ended up going and transpiring.
Well, this was excruciating because hopefully, in our collective opinion, Jeffrey would have been found not guilty of everything. So this is very painful. But that's another 3 months or so in custody.
What?
And he wants to go home to his family.
What? All he had to do was 3 more months? Yo, he ain't just say all he had to do was 3 more months, y'all. 3 more months. That's it. What's that? 36, 90 days. Come on, Thug. Thug wild as a motherfucker, boy. Yeah, still happy. You know, he can work on other cases now. Thug, wow. 3 more months, yo. He could have did that shit on a handstand. You heard me? Yo, Thug could have did 3 months on a handstand. That's what he said. 3 more months.
In our collective opinion,
That's probably what it
not
is.
guilty of everything.
But he can't get high. Well, he can probably get high until he sees PO.
But that's another 3 months or so in custody. And he wants to go home to his family. And negotiations totally broke down with the district attorney's office. Horribly broke down. And at that point, we believe that justice would be found with the honorable court. And Jeffrey just wanted to go home. How agonizing it is to know that we've spent a year trying a case.
You said they broke
where
him.
The prosecutors have put on lies, knowing lies, hiding evidence is insane.
Right, and then that's another thing too, though, y'all. Then that's another thing. Yo, the appeals court would have ate this case in half. All that deceitful and shit and little sneaky things the prosecutors was doing. Appeals court would have crushed this case. Even if worst case scenario he would have got sentenced. They would have tossed this case before he caught time.
United States of America.
No,
and the only reason that this got revealed is because of you people. You people brought the truth to the community.
Yeah, I don't fuck with him, no, sir.
Nobody knows this. This is not the only courtroom it's happening in, and I just want to thank all of you. I especially want to thank Jeffrey for letting me represent him. I think he's a wonderful person who does wonderful things and will continue to do things.
Yeah, but only had 3 more months to sit.
I cannot express to you how Shaquille Kokomo, how Trisha Renard, how Haley, how my wife Colette, how Bram, how countless people, but especially Miss Courtney Edwards, has worked without sleep for 3 years representing Jeffrey and helping him. I will never be able to stand with anyone more ethical, honest, hardworking, insightful, intelligent, and kind than the Honorable Keith Adams. The gentleman to my left is the best lawyer in the country.
Mr. Shields, do you think prosecutors negotiated in good faith at all during any of these negotiations?
Let me take this one.
No.
Let me answer that.
Ain't no way.
The short answer is no.
Ain't
this
no
is
way.
a case that possibly could have been resolved if folks were reasonable. But we did not believe that we could enter into good faith negotiations with people who wanted a case resolved in a manner simply to save face. And Jeffrey Williams was not going to say things that they wrote for him, that they wanted him to say, that was their theory when it wasn't true. And so, good faith, no. I don't believe we were ever really negotiating in good faith. And you've been here the past year that this case.
Oh, okay. They try to give him a snitch. So they try to give him a snitch plea. If he'd have took a snitch plea, he'd have came home. Nothing. Wiped the whole slate claim. But but you can only how they gonna offer a snitch plea and the case was fugazi? Like, this prosecution was delusional. Like, they must really thought they put on a hell of a case. And they doing an awesome job, and they got the jury's attention. Attorney Love need to watch the replays. She need to go back, right, when the trial is over, and just watch all the replays so she can get a better understanding of this case. It shouldn't have never even been brought to trial. So you try to get a man a snitch plea, and the case ain't even strong. So he turned it down. So that's why they tried to sting him. They tried to sting him because they couldn't give him to sign a snitch plea, like Gunner signed and Montonk signed.
Has been on trial. You've seen the numerous motions for mistrial. You've seen the behavior of the state. You've seen the dishonesty. You've seen everything being hidden. You've seen.
He said they're gonna make gospel music
in front of you, and so you know what kind of prosecution we were dealing with, and that's okay. Mr. Steele and I have fought through this the past 2.5 years, and as he said, we ultimately decided we were going to put our faith in the court as opposed to the folks on the other side of the aisle. And the best thing out of all of this is that Jeffrey Williams, in a very short period of time, will be home. And that's all we've wanted from May 9th, when they went and picked him up and have held him in jail without a bond for the past 2.5 years. He'll be home shortly.
Keith and Brian, either one of you can answer. I have 2 questions, please. First off, you go into a blind plea, you don't know, right? There's nothing for sure. What was your emotions like when you guys went into that? I would imagine the conversation, you kind of take us into the room before you went out into court, what the conversations were back and forth. Obviously, I know there's attorney-client privilege, but it's a big decision.
Well, I didn't want to give up the jury trial, but that was a decision made, and once that decision was made, we were just thankful that there are people like the Honorable Judge Whitaker who understands what a trial is like and what it should be like. And I cannot thank the Honorable Court for being here and coming in. She is not our first judge, but she's the first time we received justice.
Mr. Adams, this is your second high-profile RICO case here in Fulton County. Do you think that maybe the prosecutor's office is abusing that statute? And what are your opinions of RICO generally?
I have, for the 30-some-odd years that I've practiced law, always believed that if you, as a prosecutor, think that someone has committed a crime, you charge them with the crime, you put it in front of a jury, and then you do it fairly and let the chips fall where they may. The courtroom is not the place to get adventurous, to get inventive, to think, well, we don't have evidence on any of these incidents, but maybe, if just maybe, we tie them up in a RICO and put them with people who may have committed crimes, we can get them that way. That's an abuse.
That's exactly what she did, though, y'all.
For some strange reason, the Fulton County DA's office seems to be in love with RICO, and my honest opinion is that they're in love with it because it makes it easier for them to try and convict people that they otherwise could not convict. And that's what is happening here. It's a cheat code. We're fighting a mountain, reams of evidence.
It's a cheat code, y'all, like I've been said.
And so, is it an abuse? I think it is. There are better ways to, and I used to be a prosecutor, right? And I can tell you that there are better ways to prosecute cases than the way this case was prosecuted.
You guys obviously rejected initially what the state was going to offer. Is there some details you can give us? Because it sounds like from what you guys decided in court, I mean, it's still pretty strange that there's a lot of different details, but what was the state asking for that you guys rejected?
I'm not going to get into plea negotiations because they are privileged under statute, but it was outrageous. They would let him out of custody, but they would have a tether around him so tight.
Kamala backed Biden on everything. She supported his disastrous economic agenda. Higher taxes on the middle class. Kamala backed his open...
That is unconscionable.
And how are y'all feeling about what the sentencing is, especially with not being able to be in Metro Atlanta except for specific parameters, and how is Mr. Williams feeling about that?
You know, we're okay with the sentence. There comes a time in any case, if a person is sentenced, that we're out of the courtroom, and now what happens to that person is entirely up to them. Jeffrey Williams is a fantastically talented man. He is a great person. He's become a great friend over the course of the last couple of years. And he has the ability, the incentive to go forth and do everything he needs to do to put this behind him. And we're confident that he will. One of the questions you asked a little earlier was, what was that feeling like stepping into a courtroom to do what's called a blind plea, not knowing what's going to happen? You know, it's a scary feeling for all involved.
Man, that's a long ass time,
probably no feeling quite like that other than sitting in a courtroom waiting for a jury to come out and tell you what your fate is. But we walked in there knowing that we were in front of a fair tribunal and being comfortable that the right thing was going to happen, and the right thing did.
What do you think about your client just serving as a role model? Obviously, as part of the agreement, he was going to be participating in the community, doing events, things like that. Obviously, he has a huge reach for what he does for a living.
I've known Jeffrey Williams. I've defended him for over a decade. I have been with him where we go to young children, children in need, children who are going down the wrong way. And he tells exactly what he's going to continue to say. He tells everybody, this is not a good life. We have to stop the generational disaster that is plaguing the community. And although right now I'm successful, I'm a product, but every one of you can get out. And he always stresses education. Jeffrey Williams is a great person, great role model, and he will do even better now, hopefully, if you allow him and his words to get out. As far as how Jeffrey's feeling now, he knows my feelings, which I'm not going to reveal for attorney-client privilege. But this is not the same as the not guilty verdict. That should have been rang. But
no, I wasn't no mistrial. They still going to trial.
On a concrete
a couple of them just copped out.
Floor that they're calling his bed, gets up at 4:15, gets shackled at his feet, his waist, and his hands, comes to the Fulton County.
Yo, that is a bitch, y'all. Remember I told y'all that.
Eating out of a bag.
Remember I was talking about that, yo, on one of them lives. Yo, that trial process while you in jail is a fucking headache. A headache, yo. Getting up every day at 4:30 in the morning. Getting shackled around your waist, your arms, your legs. Getting in the paddy wagon, driving all the way to the courtroom to sit in that fucking trial and get your time wasted. Yo, because that trial was fucking horrible. It was horrible, y'all. But, yo, Sleep the Thug, he probably be home by tomorrow. You know, they're going to have to do paperwork and shit. He probably got out that bitch tomorrow. And man, I just hope he can, you know, hopefully they don't pick with him, you know, because they do that shit sometimes. Hopefully they don't pick with him. I hate for Thug to be one of them guys that violate quick as a bitch. You be like, damn, Thug, you just came home. Now you back already. I think he should have just, I'd have just fought it, y'all. You talking about 3 more months, yo. He could have said 3 more months and came home with nothing, came home and sued the bitches, sued the socks off of him for mistreatment, for all type of shit. Whatever he can sue him for, I'm sure Brian still could have helped him put something together. Abuse of power. Man, I'd have hit him. I'd have hit him for, man. I'd have got every dollar back that I spent. I'd have got every dollar back I spent on that trial. For real. Hey, y'all, I'm trying to get this video uploaded, y'all. I don't want to upload it. I'm scared YouTube gonna play with me and then demonetize the bitch as soon as I put it out. But I'm gonna see. I'm gonna see what they're gonna do if I upload it. So it should be up probably within the next 10 or 15 minutes. So make sure y'all hit that, watch that video, share it. Took me 4 days. I mean, not 4. Put the bitch out. So it's a lot of detail in the video. And damn, yo, can't even fucking see. Oh, why the fuck I put this damn weight bench right? I need to move this motherfucker. But boy, 24/7. Tired for real. But appreciate everybody that tapped in. Like I said, y'all, I'm ready to work on this. I'm ready to try to get this video out. So look out for it. If you don't get the notification, check the page in like a couple minutes, 10, 15 minutes. And I'm out.